Hola. So this is section 1.2. We're going to evaluate and simplify algebraic expressions. So that's our goal here. So our first thing is we're looking at the order of operations. That's what we use to evaluate algebraic expressions. The order of operations is really important, mainly because then we're all speaking the same language as far as math goes. Anybody who's ever traveled abroad or anything like that, you know how hard it is if they don't speak the language. I was in Turkey and I took a plane, super cheap plane to Istanbul, and the way that super cheap planes work is that they land usually on the Asian side, and you have to find your way over to a boat and then get over to the European side because Turkey's actually split by a little bit of water. Anyway, I got off the plane, I didn't know how to get to the water. There's a bunch of security guards with guns, so I went up to him, I was like, I started saying in English, how do you get to the plane, or, how do I get to the European side, which is where all the tourist stuff is? And then, the guy like just stared at me. So I was like, water, boat, and I made motions with my hands. Um, and he just pointed at the bus and said bus, and that's all he said. I was like, so I said bus question mark, and he said bus period. And I was okay. So anyway, I had to ride the bus for an hour and a half, and then, which was some of the scariest hour and a half ever. And then I had to, and then I had to take a boat across, but it all worked out good. So anyway, moral of the story: common language solves so many problems. As far as then, we're all doing the same thing. So me doing math here and my buddy who lives in Turkey are doing the same math at the same time. It's all the same. So really important stuff. So we remember from order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The way that works is you do parentheses first. So anything that's inside of parentheses, do that first. Exponents next. Exponents, remember, are the powers. So you do whatever stuff, the little numbers. Multiplication and or division next. So my dear Aunt Sally kind of confuses people because M comes before D. They actually happen at the same time. So make sure you're not confusing that. And then lastly, addition and subtraction. Again, they're on the same level. So even if you have something like this, you want to go left to right. So -5 plus 5 gives you 0. Because that helps keep it all the same. So you just go left to right if they're on the same level for order of operations. Okay, what do the problems look like? Here's the first problem, order of operations, duh. Evaluate the expression for the given value of the variable. Remember, variables are letters in math terms, so all we do is wherever we see an H, put a 4. There's an H, write a 4 instead. Here's an H, write a 4 instead. So we have 6 times 4 divided by 2 plus 4. Because we replace the H's with numbers. That's the cool part about math, that's the cool part about the letters, that we can put any number we want in there. The book just happened to tell us 4. Could have said 1,000, could have said 1,000,000, could have said a Google, which is a lot. But anyway, now, if we look at this problem, we have multiplication, we have division, and we have addition. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. My dear are on the same level, so we do multiplication and then division. So 24, we do the multiplication first because it's on the left, remember left to right, divided by 2 plus 4. So now we have division and addition. Division comes first, and then addition is last. So that's our answer, 16. Here's the next problem. Again, I forgot to say at the beginning, I've said this in other videos though, if you want to do this for practice, just pause the video and then try it on your own, and then I'll explain the problem as we go here. So if you want to do it as practice, pause it, and then hit play again once you're done. Same deal here, wherever we see next, put a -1, so put a -1 there, put a -1 there, so we got -1 to the 4th, minus 4, -1 to the 3rd. So again, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we know that exponents come first. So -1 to the 4th is -1 times -1 times -1 times -1, so 4 times. That gives us 1. -1 to the 3rd is -1 times -1 times -1, which gives us -1. Well, I can do that in parentheses or with the dot. Either way, I get the same thing. So now we have multiplication. Multiplication is on the same level, so we can do both of them at the same time. 2 times minus negative 4. That's what we get here. This turns into that. This turns into that. 2 minus negative 4 turns into a plus. We get 6 is our final answer there. Lots of cool stuff going on in this problem to the right, especially with the minus and negative turns into a plus. We got to remember that. We got to remember multiplication comes first. We got to remember how exponents work. Lots of stuff about that one. That one's a cool one. Wink, wink. You can't see me winking because I'm talking. That's a hint. Next one, evaluating expressions. So same deal, except for now we have 2 letters. Double your pleasure, double your fun, double mint gum. I don't know how that commercial works. Anyway, okay. This is bad. I'm getting off track. 4 goes in for x's, so I did that there. Negative 3 goes in for y. Again, we think about please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I got a little angle there, but you get the idea. Go in order. So we have exponents first. So we're going to do that first. 4 to the third is 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64, plus 5 times negative 3. Next up on our list is multiplication. So we're going down the line. 64 minus 15. 5 times negative 3 is a negative 15. We subtract those and we get 49 is our final answer. Going kind of fast. I'm only doing that because you can pause it and rewind it anytime you want on YouTube. So do that, please. If you don't know what's going on, pause it, rewind it. If you're doing these for practice, pause it, do them, look at the answers. So, next one, 10 in for your x's, and 8 in for your y's. So 10 minus 8 over 10 plus 8. This is confusing because there's a division bar here. So we should do that first, right? We should divide all this stuff. 10 divided by 10 is 1. Negative 8 divided by 8 is negative 1. No, 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 no. There are invisible parentheses when you have a big fraction bar like that. Mathematicians are lazy. Don't like to write a lot of stuff. Try and write as little as possible. So if you don't, they just assume you know that there's parentheses there. Assuming can make you look dumb. I know what you were thinking I was going to say, but I'm not going to say it. So we want to do the parentheses first. 10 minus 8 is 2. 10 plus 8 is 18. We can simplify that by dividing, whoops, top and bottom by 2, not 9. And we get 1/9 is our final answer. Evaluating expressions. This will come in really handy when we start doing functions because we're going to be doing this all the time in functions. All the time. So we're just practicing with just an expression, and then we'll work our way up to functions later on in Chapter 2. Last type of problems. Simplify the expression. So here we're combining like terms. Like terms means the same letter and the same power. For example, m squared and n squared. Same power, different letters, not like terms. N squared and n squared. Same letter, same power. So we know if they're the same. And lastly is a m with a invisible 1 power. That's just there. So if we have 2 of the same, then we combine them. If there's just one of them, there's just one of the blue one. So I just write that. There's 2 of these, so we add the numbers in front, the coefficients. And then we leave the one at the end because there's only one of them. Do I need the one in front of the n squared? No, I do not. We're mathematicians. We're lazy. Write as little as possible. And that's my final answer. Next one has parentheses in it. So we got to distribute first and then combine like terms. Because right now there's parentheses all over the place. And remember from our order of operations, we have to do parentheses first. And then we can add and subtract later. But first we have to do parentheses. And the combining like terms is adding and subtracting. So we get So we distribute this, 3x squared minus 3y. Distribute the 9. Okay, now I can look for like terms. This has an x squared. Same letter, same power. This has an x squared. So combine those and we get 12x squared. This has a y with a 1 power. This has a y with a 1 power. Combine like terms. And that, my friends, is a final answer. Again, combining like terms will come in handy when we're dealing with functions. When we add two functions together, we have to combine like terms. When we subtract them, we have to combine like terms. So all this stuff will come in handy later. We're just starting out a little bit easier, working our way up into the more difficult function type of problems. If you have any questions, make sure you email me, comment on the video, Twitter at me, at Mr. Bydlon, whatever. Otherwise, there you go. Section 1.2, done.